Tonight, retail workers speak up about the abuse and harassment they face in Port Augusta. And a new report reveals a lack of housing available in the Upper Spencer Gulf.
From our 7 Spencer Gulf studios, your nightly news with John Hunt begins now.
Good evening. After weeks of abuse and assault, retail workers in Port Augusta have spoken up. With the city's current antisocial behaviour worsening, unions say someone needs to step in now.
Drawing the line at violence, Port Augusta's frontline retail workers are pleading for stronger protections against customer abuse.
We shouldn't be spat on, we shouldn't be yelled at and screamed at just for doing our job.
A recent SDA survey found that 60% of the state's retail workers have seen a rise in customer abuse at their workplace. The union says that percentage would be even higher in Port Augusta, with the current levels of antisocial behaviour in the city.
The sort of stories we're getting out of Port Augusta are simply appalling. And Dan Van Holspelkan can use his power within the government to do something.
We've got people being yelled at, we've got people being threatened with violence. I mean, I had somebody threaten me with a pair of scissors.
Staff say they endured the tough times through the panic buying and rat shortage, but the drunken violence in the city has them at breaking point.
We've had our baker be accosted at 3 a.m. in the morning by kids, and he didn't feel safe getting out of his car. He rang the police and waited over half an hour.
The SDA calling on the state government to declare retail workers as essential under the Criminal Law Consolidation Act. If approved, customers would face higher penalties.
Maybe they need to put themselves into our shoes and see that, we're people too. I'm a mother and a grandmother. I don't need to be treated this way in my job.
Edward McCarroll, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Meanwhile, the Liberals have confirmed they will also fund the return of City Safe. If re-elected, the Liberal government will fund 1/3 of the costs, up to $100,000, with the federal government and council also contributing. It follows a similar pledge from Labor earlier this week. Port Augusta Council have previously said they want either the federal or state governments to run the entire program. And days after criticising Labour's hydrogen plants, the Liberal Party has announced partners for a multi-billion-dollar plant at Port Bonython. Companies such as Santos and Fortescue, along with 3 Japanese businesses, have committed to the project.
A hydrogen hub for the Upper Spencer Gulf becomes a bipartisan pledge. The Liberal Party announcing a list of investors that have committed to the project at Port Bonython, north of Whyalla.
We've been working on it for years, and we're at the stage now where the proponents are comfortable to announce the work together.
The list includes Australia's major energy companies such as Santos, Fortescue and Origin Energy, and international interest from Japan and Canada. The $13 billion hub proposed to be constructed on existing Crown land.
It is government-owned land, so taxpayer-owned land, 2,200 hectares, which a few years ago we announced that we were going to use for this purpose.
SA Labor welcoming the move, saying they paved the way for it with their own hydrogen roadmap.
So we think hydrogen here in Whyalla is a great idea. It's something that I've advocated for a long time, dating back to 2014.
Eddie Hughes emphasising there is no financial security until a partner is set in stone. Whyalla's Chamber of Commerce supporting the announcement and the potential for more local jobs.
Whyalla Business and Tourism Group welcomes any employment opportunities within Whyalla, and I think the new hydrogen plant is a significant gain.
Mark Zeta, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Health has continued to be a key issue on the election trail. The Deputy Premier announcing another $1 million today to upgrade the Port Pirie Hospital helipad.
Well, look, you can see the helipad here. It's a bit tired, it's a bit worn out. In terms of the surface of the helipad, the surrounding area, dust suppression.
SA Best, meanwhile, want HECS for doctors, nurses and specialists supported. Graduates would get $5,000 per year paid onto their HECS loan over a 5-year period. They could get their whole figure paid off if their region desperately needs to fill those roles. Spencer Gulf Cities has released a report showing the population is expected to grow by 9% over the next 10 years. There are no concerns that the housing availability won't be able to keep up with demand.
More people, but not enough places to live. A new housing survey revealing the demand for houses and rentals is not being met in Port Pirie, Port Augusta and Whyalla. Spencer Gulf City is asking whoever is elected next week to step in and build more affordable homes and provide public housing.
The South Australian Government has allotted 1,000 homes. Out of those 1,000 homes, there'll be 100 built in the Spencer Gulf Cities area, 33 if you boil it down to per community, not going to make a difference.
We know that we need more housing stock. We know that every one of the 3 Upper Spencer Gulf cities has land that's available that can be used for exactly that.
The old Whyalla High School site identified as an ideal location.
And there's probably, 500-600 homes that they could pick up in that area. Their growth would be covered well if we could do that.
The report also showing more than 9,000 jobs will become available over the next 10 years. Local employers already struggling to find accommodation for their workers.
I'm just looking at the tightness of the accommodation here, so that's going to be a bit of a challenge for us.
There are also calls for new housing trust units to be built, with many in our region more than 40 years old.
So they need to build smart and they need to build more. Because what's happened in the last 2 decades is they've let the ball drop and basically there's been a net decline in the amount of houses available.
Christian Komenos, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Still to come tonight, Eyre Peninsula firefighters take part in a prescribed burn-off, and Broken Hill Racecourse all ready for St Pat's. Welcome back. A prescribed burn-off is making its way through the Lincoln National Park. The controlled fire aims to reduce the fuel area of the landscape and prevent future bushfires.
Years in the making, CFS crews took to Lincoln National Park for a landscape protection burn.
This prescribed burn is designed as a landscape buffer, and that's to protect fire moving in and out of the Donington Peninsula, as well as protecting the camping areas that we've got out on the coast here.
The burn commenced yesterday and will continue until Saturday morning. It's a process that requires methodical planning.
And as we go through the day, we'll slowly move into the block, taking off small chunks at the beginning, and then as we widen that fire break that we're burning into, we'll actually take off bigger and bigger chunks throughout the day, and that way we're actually not burning it all in one hit.
The burn will cover 200 hectares from Donington Road all the way to the coast. It aims to reduce impacts of future fires.
It's in the event that we do have a bushfire move through, having a reduced fuel area within the park means that we can interrupt the spread of that bushfire and reduce the impacts.
The preservation of wildlife also a priority.
So what we're doing is we're putting a more of a moderate fire through here rather than a high intensity fire, and by doing that we're hoping to keep more of the canopy and have more of a patchiness so that some of the animals will still be able to use that area.
The McLaren Point campground will remain closed throughout the burn. Henry Millick, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Skateboarders in Port Augusta have noticed a large segment of their stomping ground is now out of bounds. The council has denied the move as aimed at deterring youth, saying there are safety concerns.
Hitting the brakes for local kids' safety. A recent assessment of a steel half-pipe in Rotary Park in Port Augusta's west, finding it does not meet current safety standards. With fears it may cause significant harm, the council have decided to remove the structure.
There's a section of the Rotary Park skate park that's will have to be removed, and that's due to safety concerns. I think it's what they call a pipe. They run up and skate along.
Council have prevented access to the top of the ramp in the short term and are planning on removing the half pipe in the coming weeks.
This is not to punish children or remove their fun. This is an unsafe issue.
Council says they are committed to providing adequate play facilities and youth centre programs for local children.
We should have a youth activity area where the children can go or the young teenagers go.
The Mayor says keeping young people in sport, hobbies and around good role models is a great way to reduce the city's youth crime rate.
because, as I said before, there's children out there unsupervised. They've got no guidance, so they'll end up in trouble. And we need to fix that problem as well.
Edward McCarroll, 7 Spencer Golf News.
The final preparations for Broken Hill's St Pat's races took place today, with a bumper crowd expected tomorrow for the club's biggest meet of the year. With no cap on attendance, racegoers will be able to get tickets at the gate.
Ready to go racing once again. It's been a hectic week for the St Pat's crew, ahead of tomorrow's big day. $50,000 in structures have been brought over from Sydney for the event.
It's pretty well situation normal. People can buy tickets at the gate. They don't have to QR code. We're out here in the open, beautiful weather in Broken Hill. Going to have a fabulous race day.
The day will feature 8 races after being restricted to 6 last year.
What we do have tomorrow, last year we were restricted to 6 races because of COVID situation. Racing New South Wales has said, right, go back to an 8-race program. So we've got 6 hours of racing here tomorrow.
The event attracts people from far and wide. And with the region's tourist season also taking shape, local businesses are noticing more foot traffic in the main street.
This week has been amazing. It's been wonderful. There are people everywhere, people popping in, lots of tourists around. It's just gorgeous. It's wonderful to see so many people here.
Gates open at 10 a.m, with the first race set to kick off at 12:40 p.m. If you need a lift, public transport will be available.
Most people tend to make their way out here between about 12 and 2, particularly those working in town. There are buses running from town all day, so people can come out. They don't need to bring their cars.
Joshua Mercer, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us. Whyalla Council pushing for further protection for local cuttlefish populations. And a familiar face set to play at Mundi Mundi. Hello again. The Whyalla City Council is pushing for cuttlefish to be protected under federal guidelines. Already safeguarded on a state level, Council says national heritage status would ensure permanent protection.
It's a call to protect a valuable part of life in the Upper Spencer Gulf. The Whyalla City Council renewing its push for an application to declare the cuttlefish breeding grounds as part of the National Heritage List.
For the last 12 months or so, Council has been a very strong advocate for this application to progress, and it's been very positive to see other parties are supporting this application.
Earlier this week, SA Labor announced an expansion of a state-level no-catch zone if they get elected. Council keen to ensure any future development in the region isn't at the expense of the environment.
So from Council's point of view, we're going to continue to advocate for this application to progress, because we do want to see the heritage listing for the cuttlefish site here in Whyalla.
With Cuttlefest less than 3 months away, the Mayor is ready to welcome visitors. She is expecting a successful season and a boost in tourism numbers as COVID restrictions are lifted.
Look, it's going to be a really successful season this year. I know there's been lots of bookings already through our dive shop, so it's obviously it's got that great tourism attraction.
The member for Grey, Rowan Ramsey, was contacted for comment. Mark Zeta, 7 Spencer Golf News.
The Desalination Site Selection Committee has held another round of meetings in Port Lincoln. The group undertaking a field tour of the storage facilities in the southern sector. Chair Peter Treloar says they will consider all environmental and financial aspects of any development. The committee has until July to present a preferred site to SA Water. One of the Mundi Mundi Bash's headline acts has visited Broken Hill to promote next month's event. Adam Thompson, the lead singer of renowned rock band Chocolate Starfish, says he is excited about the opportunity.
Ready to rock out on the Mundi Mundi Plains. This singer getting ready to put on a show.
We've done its sister festival, the Big Red Bash, and we're so excited about doing the Mundi Mundi Bash as well now because, you know, I think this area has got so much to offer, and we're really looking forward to putting on a rock and roll show out here.
He also expects there to be a different energy compared to what the band experienced in Birdsville. Adam and the band no stranger to the area.
You know, given this different region is very different to Birdsville, it's going to have its own flavour, its own demographic, its own input of energy.
The city is gearing up for the event, which will take place on the 21st to the 23rd of April. As many as 10,000 people are expected, with hopes it will be a magical occasion.
You know, bringing rock and roll to a place that before we all converge on it is going to be a completely different place. But when we converge on it, bring all the sound equipment, bring all the bands, bring all the energy and the people, that's when it sort of transforms into something magical.
Organisers recently announced the bash will be a dog-friendly one. Unfortunately for Adam, he doesn't have one to bring along.
I love dogs. And I think that, having dogs out in your campsite is a wonderful thing.
Joshua Mercer, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us after the break. We preview the weekend's local cricket action. And Alex Sykes has the all-important long weekend weather forecast. Hello again. Local cricket is in finals mode, with Port Pirie's premiership to be decided this week. Here's our experts with their tips.
Hello and welcome to the grand final week of Port Pirie cricket. Well, it's going to be a huge day here on Saturday with Wandeera taking on Props. These two have been fierce rivals for years and this match should be a ripper. Only percentage separated these two teams at the end of the minor round and they're both evenly matched. I'm looking forward to a great game over here and I'm going to be tipping Wandeera.
Yeah, g'day and welcome to the premier final week of Port Augusta cricket. This week we see Corn take on Central Stirling. Central Stirling last year's premiers. This should be a good match, but because it's going to be played in Port Augusta, I'm going to go towards Central Stirling. South Augusta already moved straight to grand final, so yeah, Central Stirling's going to be my tip for this week.
Hello and welcome to Wyler Cricket. Well, it's finals time officially in the A grade and the B grade. In the A grade, we see the prelim final between Central Wyler and Rupina. It's going to be a tight contest with Roos just coming out victors to second spot. But I think Centrals have got the form coming in. Brad Smith is on for a big one on Saturday. In the B grade, we have the grand final this week between Central Wyler and North Wyler. Centrals have been top all year. I think I'm going to back them in, but I think Daniel Adamson's going to have something to say about it.
Welcome to this week's Port Lincoln Cricket Tips. It's finals time here in Port Lincoln and we've got some cracker games of cricket happening this weekend. First up, Centenary on Saturday, Southern Air versus Tasmans, 1 versus 2 on the ladder. Tasmans haven't put a full team out in the park all year and this week they've got a full strength side. Can't go past my boys. I'm going to tip Tasmans to go straight through to the grand final. In the next game on Sunday at Centenary Oval is Waybacks versus Charlton. Charlton were in good form last week and scored plenty of runs out at Centenary. I reckon they'll be too strong for Waybacks here and they'll play off in the prelim final the following week. Thanks for listening to the Port Lincoln Cricket Tips.
And with a look at how the weather is shaping for the cricket and all your long weekend plans, it's good evening to Alex Sykes.
Thanks, John. I have some good news in store for the long weekend. I'll have more detail on that in just a moment. Let's first take a look at today's mainly fine conditions. At 3 p.m, Port Lincoln reached a top of 23, Port Pirie got to 30 and Clare was 27. Looking further out across the region now, Woodner was sunny and 32, Broken Hill got to a top of 27, Adelaide reached 23 and Port Pirie was mild, sunny and 30 degrees. Taking a look at the satellite image now, and it's clear skies across most of the state under high pressure and a dry air mass. Moving on to tomorrow's weather outlook, and we'll start with the Gulf waters. A windy one tomorrow, southeasterly winds 20 to 25 knots, seas 1 to 1.5 metres, the swell also reaching 1.5 metres. And as of this afternoon, there were no warnings across South Australia. Fine and sunny conditions across the Eyre Peninsula tomorrow. Port Lincoln 25, Cleve set to top 30 degrees. Woodner can expect a warm one, 34 the top there. It's a similar story further north. Whale is sunny and 29. Port Augusta will hit 33 degrees. Kadina sunny and 30. Port Pirie will be mild and sunny, 32 the top there. Clare 29 and Broken Hill will start the long weekend on a good note, sunny and a top of 26 degrees expected there. Taking a look further through the week now, and on Sunday it will be warm and dry across the region. Cooper Pedy is set for a sweltering 36 degrees. Port Augusta will reach 35, as will Port Pirie. Sunny and 28 is forecast for Broken Hill. Kadina and Adelaide will both be 32. Adelaide Cup Day will have similar conditions. Cooper Pedy, the region's warmest, 37 on Monday. Port Lincoln partly cloudy and 27. Adelaide can expect 32 and partly cloudy conditions for the big race. Whyalla 31, Port Augusta 34. Not much change for the beginning of the working week on Tuesday. Broken Hill 32, Kadina expecting a top of 31, Port Pirie and Port Augusta both expecting 34, Adelaide partly cloudy and 29, Port Lincoln a degree cooler, 28 degrees forecast there. Well, John, I hope you have your tips ready for the Adelaide Cup. It's certainly set to be a great day out on the field. And that's all the weather from me for tonight. It's back to you.
Thanks, Alex. And that's the local news for the week. Just a reminder, you can follow us on our Facebook, Twitter and YouTube pages. I'm John Hunt. Thanks for your company. I'll have updates later. And Ruby will be with you on Monday from 7 p.m. Until then, have a safe and happy long weekend.